Alright, good afternoon. Algebra 2 Trig Honors class. So this one is just a continuation of chapter 7. So today we're talking about number 12, 14, 16, all the even number, all the way until 22. Okay, so we'll look at those type of problem there, all the even. Okay, so last time we talked about the graphing rational functions with 3 different type of scenario. Degree on the top is less than the degree down the bottom, and then the degree is the same top and the bottom, and the other one is finding the slant asymptote if the power on the top, which is greater than the power down the bottom. But now this one is much easier compared to what we did last time. It's all about factoring, cross cancellation, and also finding the excluded value. So now to look at that number 12 here. So we started off with the trinomial over the binomial, multiply another rational function with the binomial over the binomial. So first thing you want to do, you want to factor all those trinomial binomials. Okay, so let's start off with that. 10n squared minus 7n minus 45. Now, the thing is that if you cannot do it mentally, you can always show the work by using the smiley face method, the one that I explained it before. So 10n squared is just like 5n, 2n. And then negative 45, so we do have either negative 3 and 15, or 15 times, negative 15 times 3, or negative 9 and 5. So try to get those two numbers as close as possible. So what I'd like to do with this one, so try to use negative 9 and 5 and see what happens. So let's put in negative 5 here and 9 here. So 2n times 9, then that'll be 18n. And then negative 5 times 5n, then that'll be 25n. So 25n, 2n times 9, then that's negative, positive 18n. But 5n times negative 5 is negative 25. Combine them, then that'll be negative 7n. So you might be wondering, well, what does that tell you here? Well, this one, it shows you the factor tree, so satisfy the number here in the middle. So on the top here, we can put it in as 5n plus 9, and then 2n minus 5. And then what about this one? It's a binomial, so you just want to take out the greatest common factor. 35, 63, the greatest common factor, which is considered, let's see, 7. So take out 7, so we do have 5n plus 9. And then what about the other rational expression here? So n minus 10, nothing we can do, just keep it like that. Denominator, 12, 30. So take out greatest common factor, so we do have what? 6. So it's 2n minus 5. And now, once you find out things that they share in common. Now, before you find out things that they share in common, let's find the excluded value first, in case that you're going to cancel out the common pair. So we set the denominator equal to 0, so that means the parentheses got to be 0. So for the excluded value, so set the denominator equals 0. So this one is just finding the VA, kind of like the VA that we were talking about for the previous part of the lecture. So set that 7 times 5n plus 9 equals 0. While the 7 has nothing to do with the 0, so can divide it by 7 both sides. So the only thing that matters the most is the binomial. So 5n plus 9 equals 0, so 5n equals negative 9. So that means n equals negative 9 over 5. Exclude the value. And the other excluded value right here, so then that'll be 6 times 2n minus 5 equals 0. Again, the 6 has nothing to do with the 0, so just the matter of 2n minus 5. So 2n equals 5, and then n equals 5 over 2 for the excluded value. So anytime that you factor it, top and the bottom, so just set the denominator equals 0, so you can get the excluded value. And now, in order to simplify the rest of this, let's go back to this one. Things that they share in common, top and the bottom, cancel, cancel. And also, what we can do here, cross cancel. And now, what do you do with the rest of those terms and the variable? So simply just multiply them straight across. So what we got here is n minus 10 all over 7 times 6, which is what? 42. And that would be the final result, the simplest form. And then for number 14, it's quite similar. So 2k squared minus k minus 6 Again, if you're not quite sure what to do with the factor, you can always just write it out. Just do it separately. Factor tree, 2k, 1k, negative 6. So what can you use for negative 6? That's right, negative 3, positive 2. Okay, so negative 3, positive 2, or positive 3, negative 2. So we got 3k, and then 2k times negative 2, then that'd be negative 4k. Combine them, then that'd be negative k. So this one can be written as 2k plus 3, then k minus 2. As you guys can see that the way I paired this, whatever that you put in for the left-hand side of the factor tree. So you want to group those elements together. Whatever the one that you have on the right-hand side of the factor tree, you also want to group them together. And then denominator, so take out 2k, greatest common factor. So we do have 2k plus 3 remain. And then times 2k minus 2, so obviously take out 2, greatest common factor, so k minus 1. Denominator, take out 18, so we got k minus 1. So find the excluded value. So the excluded value, this one's quite obvious. Set the denominator equals 0, so we got k equals 0, and k equals negative 3/2. Can do it mentally. And then over here, so k equals 1. And now for the rest of this, so what we got to do, so we just need to reduce and cross cancel. So k minus 1, k minus 1. And then let's see what else that we can cancel. 2k plus 3, 2k plus 3. And also the 2 over 18, so 2 reduced with that 18. So that's 9. Okay, so let's see. Anything else? And then rewrite it. So this one is considered k minus 2. All over. 2k times 9, then that'll be 18k. Alright, like that. Okay, so now what about for the division? Remember that going back to 3rd grade math? So anytime that you divide it by fractions, so that means you multiply its reciprocal. So for the second rational functions, the rational expression, so you want to flip it over. So what we got here, so let's just rewrite it. So it's 5n squared plus 50n over 2n squared minus 5n minus 7. So we just want to turn this one from division to multiplication. And this one here, so just flip it over. And then after that, so you just want to factor it. So try to factor it mentally. So 5n squared 50n. So that means we can take out 5n, greatest common factor. So we got n plus 10. Denominator, so 2n, so 7. So let's put it this way. So 2n minus 7. And then n plus 1. Because negative 7 plus 2n, then that'll be negative 5n. And then this one here, so 4n squared, 6n, negative 70. So before we factor it completely, so we can take out the greatest common factor. So let's just do this one on the side, because you want to show the work. So let's see, 2. So 2n squared plus 3n. And then minus 35. And then for the rest of this, you want to factor it. So let's see, 2n, 1n. So negative 35, we can use 5 and 7. So let's see, negative 5. No, positive 5 and negative 7. Because we need to satisfy that 3n in the middle. So negative 7n plus 10n, then that'll be 3n. So this one can be written as 2 times 2n minus 7, n plus 5. All over. Denominator, so also that one, well, this one here, take out the greatest common factor. So take out 10n. So we got n plus 5. So now find the excluded value first. So set the denominator equals 0. So we do have n equals 7 over 2. N equals negative 1. N equals 0. If you set that 10n equals 0. and then n equals negative 5. So 4 excluded value. And now don't forget to reduce. So 2n minus 7 cross cancel out with 2n minus 7. N plus 5, reduce that with n plus 5. 5n goes into 10n twice. 2 over 2, that's just 1. And then what's left here, it's just n plus 10 over n plus 1. So we're just simplifying the rational expression. Okay, so now let's see what else. Another division, so that one is quite similar. So this one basically take out 10. So we got 5x plus 1. So you might be wondering, I didn't flip this one over. Well, we can do it all at the same time. So 35x plus 7, so we took out 7. So we got 5x plus 1. And then multiply by the reciprocals of this. So factor out 6x plus 12, take out 6. So we got x plus 2. And then all over 10. So 5x plus 1 over 5x plus 1 cancel. 10 and 10 got canceled. And then whatever that's remained, so that's what we found. So 6 times x plus 2 all over 7. And finding the excluded value, so set the denominator equals 0, so 5x plus 1 equals 0. So that means 5x equals negative 1, so x equals negative 1/5. Okay, so checking the work, making sure that everything is correct here. Alright. Okay, so now what about for the rest of this? 20, 22, 24. 24, we'll talk about that next time. So for the next type of structure, we'll talk about the complex fractions. So what I mean by the complex fractions, does that involve with the complex number? No, it doesn't involve with the complex number. So the reason why that I call the complex rational expression is because that you do have a rational expression with another rational expression. So like this type of problem here. So the key important step for doing this, it's about finding the LCD or the LCM. If you remember that, LCD, which is what? The least common denominator, or the LCM, the least common multiple. So compare that the top and the bottom. So we got x plus 2, 2. So the least common denominator for x plus 2 and 2, then that'll be the quantity of 2 and then x plus 2. So basically what you need to do, you just want to multiply the top and the bottom by the least common denominator. And then you want to distribute. Okay, so after you multiplied it out, so distribute. So this one distributes, so we do have x squared. Well, let's just rewrite it. X squared over x plus 2. Let's just distribute everything out first. Times 2 times x plus 2. And then the other one here, x plus 2 over 2 times 2 times x plus 2. And then denominator is quite similar. So x plus 2 over 2 times 2 times x plus 2. Minus x over 2. Again, something wrong with this pen here. Okay, so x over 2 times 2 times x plus 2. And the purpose of doing that, we want to cross cancel. So x plus 2 cancels out with the x plus 2. 2 cancels out with that 2. 2 cancels out with the 2. 2 cancels out with the 2. So whatever that's left, you just want to multiply them straight across or distribute. So 2 times x squared, then that'll be 2x squared. X plus 2 times x plus 2, then that'll be x squared plus 4x plus 4. And then down here on the bottom, so x plus 2 times x plus 2, x squared plus 4x plus 4. Minus, this one distribute. Got to be careful, it's negative x times x, negative x squared. Negative x times 2, negative 2x. The sign, negative times positive, negative. And now for the rest of this, combine the like terms. So once you combine those like terms, we do have 3x squared plus 4x plus 4. And then down the bottom here, x squared minus x squared got canceled. 4x minus 2x, then that would be considered 2x. And then plus 4. And for those you might be wondering, can I simplify this one a little bit further? Yeah, certainly you can. You can. Well, if this one is factorable, you probably want to factor it. So it looks like that one, let's see, is that factorable? I doubt it, because that's 4x plus 4, and then 3. Prime number with the even number, non-factorable. But the denominator can be factored. But normally, we just want to leave that as a trinomial over the binomial. Okay, so that would be the simplest form. And there's no need to find out the excluded value for this. So just erase that, the equal sign here. Okay, so now let's see what we got for this one down the bottom of the page. So it looks like this one doesn't have the solutions. Okay, so I'll attach the solution for this so you guys can check that. So that's number 20. And what about number 22? So it's quite similar. So find the least common denominator of n minus 4, n plus 5, and 6. So basically that would be pretty much everything all together. That would be the least common denominator. Another way you can do it, so besides finding the least common denominator top and the bottom, you can just simply convert this one to the least common denominator form. So basically for the top part, so this one can convert it into n minus 4 times n plus 5. And then divided by the least common denominator for the bottom, then that would be 6 times n plus 5. So multiply the missing element top and the bottom. So this one multiplied by n plus 5. And this one here multiplied by n minus 4. And this one here multiplied by 6. This one here multiplied by n plus 5. So you want to convert that to the least common denominator separately before you divide it. So n plus 5 times n plus 5, so which is what? M squared plus 10m plus 25. And then 6m minus 24 times m minus 4. So this one you want to FOIL. So 6m times m, 6m squared. 6m times negative 4, negative 24m. And then negative 24m once again. And then negative 24 times negative 4, then that'll be positive 96. Okay, so for this one here down the bottom, so we do have 6 times m plus m squared. Negative 4m plus 5m, then that'd be 1m. And then minus 20. That's a lot of terms right here. Okay, so back to the numerator. So combine them. So we do have 7m squared. Okay, cross this out, cross this out. And then 10m minus 24m. Then that'd be negative 14m. But don't forget, another negative 24m. So basically it's 10m minus 48m. So it's negative 38m. 25 plus 96. 121. Okay, so checking the work, making sure that everything's all correct. 561. Yep. And now don't forget, over the least common denominator. So this one, I just want to turn that into a multiplication with a reciprocal. So this one can be written as 6 times m plus 5 all over. So m squared. 6m plus m, 7m. Minus 20. So for those you might be wondering, is this factorable? Yeah, I doubt it, because this one is positive 121. It's either negative negative or positive positive. So prime number, even, odd number, non-factorable. But things that we can cross cancel, m plus 5. Okay, so now for the rest of this, so basically just put them all together. So just multiplied it out if you want to multiply it out. So 6 times 7m squared, 42m squared, minus 6 times 38. Okay, let's see. So 8 times 6, 48. 3 times 6, 18, plus 4, 228. M plus what? 121 times 6, 6, 12, 726. And then all over. This one here, you want to FOIL it. Or distribute, because that's non-factorable. Or you can just leave that with the factor form. But it's better for you to multiply it out. Okay? So next time, we'll talk about the way to combine the rational expression, the way to subtract. So we'll talk about the way to multiply, divide, and also we'll talk about the strategy to solve for the rational equations. So those looks like this one is kind of tough. Okay, so we'll talk about that next time. So make sure that you stick with the way to find out the rationals, the simplest form for the rational expression. Multiplying, dividing, or simplifying the complex expressions. Alright, so I'll see you guys next time.